Hey everybody, this is Joe on the Okie Woodsman channel. You may have watched me split that impossible wood. Great. I think I done messed up. Maybe there's a reason why no one burns, not worth the effort. Sycamore. I asked that question, is it a good firewood? Well, it may be a good firewood or a decent firewood, but it's not a good firewood if you need to split it by hand. I spent a lot of time, and as many of you know, we didn't yield all that much. Not working. Oh my gosh. Is this worth it? Absolutely not. I'm tired, guys. I haven't even split a piece, honestly. It's not me, it's the wood. If you are hand splitting, don't bother. Today, I'm gonna go ahead and get to noodling with my Echo. I'm gonna throw a 20-inch bar on it, put a grind on it, and let's get going. I had mentioned I'm gonna go ahead and use my Echo CS-620 to do some noodling. So let's get it ready. These are my favorite kinds of gloves to wear in the winter time. They're like a knit with like a coating on them. Protects the fingers, keeps your hands warm, but you don't lose your dexterity. That's a good thing right there. It's good not to lose the dexterity when you're putting gloves on. We've got snow flurries coming. It's not going to stick. We're just hovering just above freezing. I'd say, in my opinion, that's kind of one of the worst places to be. I really do like chain adjusters, not in the saw, but in the side cover. I prefer that, without a doubt. You might wonder why I'm going to use the 620 over anything else. And the answer is very, very simple. I've called this saw the best saw for someone that wants to work a saw really hard and not be worried about it. That's my perception, at least. I don't have enough time to really know that to be the case. This is ported, so that's a variable, but the saw is a strong saw. Another big thing on Echo saws, this side cover is very open and very little room for chips to catch in here. Okay, this thing spits noodles out and hardly ever gets clogged. I barely ever get that thing clogged. Throwing a 20-inch bar on here. You might wonder why I'm not going to use the 660 saw ported by Aaron Lynch. That is because I do not want the weight. I do not want the weight of that saw. It's unnecessary. It's great, but I'm just going to noodle up this sycamore here. I'm going to be noodling here, so I'm going to get this a little bit tighter because it's likely to stretch. If you want my opinion on bars and chains, I'm not thrilled with how the Holzfforma bars wear, okay? They seem to wear extremely quickly. They seem to have gotten better, but they wear. I mean, all bars wear. The chains I like quite a bit. I find that they hold an edge sufficiently. I think they are a little bit softer, but I find that wood isn't what dulls my chains. I find that primarily what dulls my chains is hitting dirt, hitting rocks embedded in the bark. I find it's a little easier to sharpen up the Holzfforma chains. Use my grinder. This is my diamond bit. Everybody, my giveaway video, I thought it would do better than that. I still haven't got the draw for the winner of this tool, or I have another tool. It's brand new, okay? I haven't got to even draw on it yet because I asked for 100 thumbs ups. That hasn't quite happened yet. If you haven't gone and visited that, I'll put a link in there, but I hope we can get that drawn here pretty soon. If not, I'm probably going to have to do a drawing beforehand because I'm not going to let that sit for too long. So check this out. I've gone through here pretty quickly. These teeth are deadly. That's a nice little burr that pops right off. All right, so I have used this stone or this diamond bit for a while. You can see there's definitely some, it looks like abrasive that's completely gone off of this side. It has abrasive on the other side. Now, I'm going to continue to run this for a while. I might suggest that you change it out, but I'm going to see where this gets to be annoying. Now, I have started focusing on using more or less the tip, because the tip, it looks like I wore it out mostly down here, right? So I'm using that part of the stone. I feel as if at this point in time, this has gone as far, if not farther, than a file would go in the amount of sharpenings. If I really think maybe even more. Pretty happy with that. I have other ones to change it out with, but I'm just kind of curious to see what the actual usable life is. I'm going to go ahead and file the rakers down. I'm going to get out there and cut here pretty soon. Thanks for hanging out with me today on this video here. What you'll see is I do some noodling here, just a little bit, running this saw. Just kind of wanted you to see how the saw was cutting after I put a grind on that chain. At the end of this video, I also do show how much wood I have there sitting, and also show an overall scope of how many noodles there are on the ground. In an upcoming video, be a little bit more saw cutting, but I actually have figured out an estimation, a rough estimation, but I came up with an interesting number for about how much wood is wasted or lost, if you will, by cutting with a chainsaw versus splitting. If you've been following, you know that splitting this for me was not an option, because all I have is axes, mauls, and wedges. I have also been made aware that if you let this wood dry and sit, it becomes splittable by hand. But I want to burn this next year in the shoulder seasons, and so I don't want to wait for that. I want this wood to dry out as quickly as possible so I can make use of it. I'm trying to keep the property cleaned up as much as I can, because we live here. This is not just our wood yard, we live here. I am thinking about clearing out a spot a little bit of ways from the house where I could do more of this work, split more firewood, because I don't foresee that stopping anytime soon. I am at some point going to want to get a splitter, a good splitter. There'll be an interesting video coming up here. Like, I can show you the math that I used, the estimations that I used. I actually went through and counted every single cut I made and figured it out based off of the kerf of this 3/8 chain, approximate. Again, everything's going to be approximate, but if you hang out to the end, take a look at that pile, see what there is there, and in the comment section, tell me about how many cubic feet you think is on the ground in the form of chips or noodles. In terms, and if you're not that familiar with measures of cubic feet, I believe most firewood bags or firewood bundles are about 1 cubic feet of wood. So that might help you out as well. Be kind of fun to see who gets closest there. This is not too long of a video today. Get to take a look and see how this saw is cutting. I also did give this saw a little bit more fuel. It did want some more fuel once it was running and getting warm. I think I do that about here actually. Saw's running great, especially with a little bit more fuel in it. One thing I've always maintained is that these Echos have a tendency, or at least these 620s have a tendency to take a long time to get to operating temperature to where the carb is going to be happy. So you definitely, while tuning one of these saws or a 590, you definitely want to run it for some time before you start tweaking on that high jet, because it will change on you even after you've made quite a few cuts. This is going to be the first video posted for the year 2024. Again, I cannot thank all of you enough for all the support. It's absolutely incredible. 20-inch bar was king on there. I loved it. I actually really enjoyed running that 20-inch bar. Getting good noodles. My sharpener there.